Hello, Croeso, and welcome to BFI Network Wales. I'm Tracy Spottiswoode, and we were in Hay-on-Wye recently speaking to award-winning writer and director Marc Price. He was taking part in a one-day event called In the Room, looking at team writing for television drama. The event was sponsored and supported by S4C, Pinewood Studios, Tinopolis, BAFTA Cymru, Buccaneer and Alabordi. And there was a great lineup of speakers, including Hans Rosenfeld, the creator of TV series The Bridge. Marc's perhaps best known for his low-budget horror film Colin, made for the grand old sum of £45. Here he is talking to Mark Mansfield about that and what he's been up to recently.
It's a strange one because for me it was always about telling that particular story, and it's kind of odd now because obviously I tell stories differently because as you should I like to think I've grown a little bit as a storyteller, as a filmmaker. Technology certainly has. And yeah, so I'm definitely happy with the movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I tend to put the movie down, walk away, work on the next one. So we've got a second feature which doesn't have any zombies in it, and as such is a little bit more difficult to get out there. The film's called Magpie, and it's about a negligent dad who steals his son's coffin and hits the road with his ex-girlfriend, the mother of the dead child. So it's either not as funny as it sounds, or it's not as grim as it sounds, depending on how you take that lousy synopsis I just threw out there. But yeah.
Would you say it's fair to... I'll use a bit of sort of jargon here, for the sort of film reviewer jargon. But would you say it's fair to say you have an individual view of things?
Yeah, I like to think so. And I think that with Colin, I was trying to tell a story that had for me, an interesting perspective on the zombie apocalypse type story, and I wanted to have that story be very emotionally driven. And what you're asking of the audience in that instance is to feel emotion in place of a character who, just the rules of the game say that he shouldn't feel anything. So in Magpie, we were dealing with characters who were repressing their emotions because they were dealing with extreme grief. So a lot of that focuses on the character of Emily, played by Daisy Aitkins, who was Colin's sister in Colin. And it's about her dealing with that loss of losing a child, losing control of how this child is going to be, the funeral arrangements. And yeah, so I like, but the fun thing with Magpie was that I had 4 separate characters who all linked, and I could at various points of the story go with them. So it was more of a sort of like a very small character tapestry, not quite as broad as something like Magnolia, but something smaller where we could just focus on these 4 characters who were going through different things in the same car as they were driving from London to Cornwall via Swansea, because I wanted to shoot some stuff in Swansea. So.
Cheaper.
Yeah, well, my mum was there and she just made us food when we rocked up and shot some stuff. It was a small crew.
How many doors has Colin opened for you?
It's been amazing, just in terms of, I get to come to events like this, it gets you an agent and you sort of feel a little bit more like it's your job, because Colin was kind of a hobby. We were making movies with my friends. I still work with my friends, and it's kind of what I get a lot of satisfaction out of is seeing how they develop professionally, because initially in the days of Colin, they were just coming along because I was sort of strong-arming them into giving up their Sundays, and now one of them is a really good visual effects artist and he is like a big core component of our own little visual effects company, which is starting to grow slowly. We got we've just done a pilot for CBBC, which I pitched with the lead actor from Magpie, Craig Russell, and so me and him have just shot the pilot. They let me direct the pilot for some reason, and that's a zombie-based show as well. Although there's nicer zombies and not monstrous zombies this time, so it's it's more about social difference rather than kids ripping each other's heads off on CBBC, which they just won't let me do. I didn't even really try. I should ask them. They might let me get away with it.
How do you feel your own career has been developing?
It seems okay. I can pay rent. That's usually the thing I look for. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you always worry. I think I always worry because you want to make another film, you want to make another TV series, or you want to make or in my case a TV series instead of just developing them and they don't get picked up. So yeah, I think Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely keen to. I mean, we're working on a sequel to Colin, which is less a sequel involving the same characters. It's like Dawn of the Dead in that it's the same world, a new bunch of characters inhabiting that world, and another perspective. This one is a soldier who loses his family and ends up training a bunch of orphan children hiding in a school how to kill zombies. So there's a cuteness to the viciousness as well, because I want the kids to be little shits. I don't want them to be I don't want them to be cute.
Is it good for you to be in an event where you have other writers around you?
Yeah, it is a bit intimidating, because I'm like, oh, you guys are all really good. And what I love the collaboration that I have with the team that I work with, and sitting here listening to what everyone's saying, I kind of feel like, oh man, I'm a bit lucky to be here around you guys. So that's kind of what it feels like to me. But yeah, I just hope I can contribute something this afternoon. And we just had the talk we just did with the hands. I had to stick my fingers in my ears whenever you're starting to spoil the bridge, because I only started watching it a couple of days ago, and I'm hooked now. So I'm 3 episodes deep, and I need to keep going, and I just didn't want it ruined. So sitting there listening to this talk, just jamming my fingers in my ears and going, la, 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 randomly. So, yeah.
I mean, obviously, though, one of the things that is interesting is the way that technology has been so liberating in film, isn't it?
Yeah, there's this wonderful sort of democratization of filmmaking technologies, where we're in a position now to, no matter what your class, no matter what sort of what your income is, you can find a camera and tell a story visually in a cinematic way. So that's where we are, and I think that's a really exciting time. We're going to see some really, really interesting films coming out very soon, and they're being made now. It's just when distributors get a bit more balls and start actually putting them out there, because.
But you also have the other platforms as well, don't you? So I mean, it's opened up in terms of the marketplace as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think my sales agent will be a bit grumpy with me, but I did let Magpie run online for just a week last week, and the amount of views we had was staggering. I was really surprised at how many people actually watched it, because it's a feature-length film. I mean, I wouldn't have expected more than 10. We got a lot more, so it was great. And
now the next stage is actually getting those views into money.
Possibly. I mean, you get to a point you just kind of want people to see the movie, it's just one of those. It's a film that I'm quite proud of, particularly in terms of what the actors brought to it. I hope the film's good as well. You can never tell. I just don't want it to be boring. That's all you want.
Thank you, Marc Price, otherwise known as Zombie Prince of Wales. And for more about how new technology is opening up the market for independents, do check out our podcast with sales agent Callum Gray, who has some really useful insights on that. Thanks to sponsors of In the Room for hosting us, and to Welsh language writing scheme Alabordi, funded by S4C, Arts Council of Wales, Creative Skill Set and BFI Network. Thanks too to Tamarack Music. I hope you can join us again soon. Hwyl fawr, goodbye for now.